Hi, can one truly love more than one person at a time? That's the big question, or that's the big issue for tonight. You know the big issue, guys, yeah?
Yes,
Have you
we
seen that
do.
before? Yeah. So this is the big issue for tonight. Can you truly love more than one person? Let's talk. This is us. Come on, let's talk.
Let's
I think it's
go.
possible.
Hmm.
Why?
I mean, for some people, the thought of experiencing an emotional eruption with more than one person at a time might sound impossible, but I think it's possible to. I believe it's possible to love more than one person, but I don't know. It is possible. It's definitely possible. But then I think
Have you experienced it before? Because if you haven't experienced it, how do you
I
then know it's
have.
possible?
I
Okay.
have
So
experienced
tell
it.
us
Yes.
it from a
Oh,
lived
you've been in love with more
experience.
than one person
I have experienced it.
Tell us then. Let us know
at the
it's
same time.
factual.
Yeah, I was confused. Like I liked both people and I didn't know who to choose.
Who to go for?
Yeah. And
It
it
would
was
have been
very
nice if you could
confusing
have
for me.
if you could have had both of them.
It would be even
Ooh.
what now?
I said it would be nice if you could have had both of them
Oh yeah.
at
Whatever
the same
suits
time.
anyone.
Why not?
So go on, tell us. What happened?
I lost
Did the
both of
relationship,
them.
they both relationships started at the same time? Because from what from my, it's not experience personally, but life would say you would have been in one relationship and starting not to like that person, then another one comes. Because I don't think I'm not likening humans to a glass of wine. So you have this red wine and you say, oh, it don't taste good, and you go for another one. But tell me, because if the relationship started at the same time, okay. But if you were already in one and another one came, how did that work? Because you must be lacking somewhere to go search for that thing somewhere. Is that not it? Clear me out.
I would say it was a relationship, so we were getting to know each other. And
Okay.
then someone else came. So I was liking two
Ah,
people
ah.
and I didn't know what to do and who to choose. It was very confusing for me. And sadly, I kind of lost both of them because I didn't know who to choose.
Sorry, I'm laughing.
Wait,
I'm laughing.
I didn't know who to choose.
I'm so sorry, I'm laughing. It's cruel.
So wait, how did you end up losing both? You just couldn't
Indecision.
I didn't know. I was indecisive. I didn't know who to choose.
Yeah,
The thing is,
indecision.
you don't necessarily love someone less because you also love someone else. So
Okay, I
they
like
were
that.
both there, and I just love them both. And I'm not one to date two people. I'm like, I'm the confused one here, so I better not waste your time. You get
right.
so
So
let
you
me go
told them.
figure out. Yeah, let me go figure out what the hell I want because I like the both of you, and hell, I can't have both of you
So
together. I
could
can't
that
have
just
you.
have been could that just be lost because you haven't been in a relationship with any of them? So I would
No.
say from where I'm sat, I'll just say it out. It could not have been love because it could have been, I don't know.
You think it's a
You
saturation?
you get carried away by two people wooing you, you're getting carried away in that fantasy world, like, wow, it's got this one is this, that one is that. So you try to put the benefits and whatnot here and there to weigh the better ones. But in a relationship, we're talking about relationship. Can you truly love? I'm married, so I'm with my wife. So if I profess to my wife that I love her and I then find another woman, can I truly be in love with that other person and still be in love with my wife? For example, that's the question. It is.
I think so.
Yes.
Well, go on. Tell us, Nana. Have you had your own personal experience too?
No.
Not
personal experience, but I think I'm a big believer in dating multiple people. I think it's fun.
Yeah,
So
for you.
what does that mean?
I said, yay for you. That's all.
Yay for me. Okay. I think so, like in terms of like being an advocate for dating multiple people, especially until you know which one you want to
okay, I
settle
see what you
for.
mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for it. And I think you like if you can like multiple people at the same time, why can't you love multiple people? That's my thought process. Especially if in terms of love, I know for a fact when you're dating multiple people, sometimes there's certain guys that bring like something different to the table. So one guy, nobody comes with 100% package.
That's what I was at. That was what I was alluding to.
If you have certain needs that need to be met, and there are multiple people that can meet those needs, then I don't see why you can't have those people in your life so that they meet certain needs. Somebody might meet your physical intimacy needs more than the other, and another person might meet more of like your intellectual needs. Because I've dated certain guys, I'm like, in all honesty, I have no interest in like you don't provide my intellectual need. You're not meeting that. Like I can't sit here and have a conversation with you about certain things. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just that for me, you're not meeting that need. So if I find somebody else that can meet that need, why not?
And you could then find that person, love that person for the intellectual vibes.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
Still be in this relationship, love this one for maybe it's outgoing, it's social vibes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
At some point, do you then choose one person? Like, because I'm thinking if you're dating multiple people to get to know them, I think your end goal is once you've gotten to know these certain people, there will be one that stands out, and then you date the person. So,
in all honesty, the only reason why I personally I don't be in a polyamorous relationship perhaps isn't appeal to me is because I'm not gonna lie, I don't have time. I'm gonna be honest.
That's a good one. That's a good factor.
I do not have the time. If I had the time and I could, it is so exhausting. Even keeping one relationship going is exhausting. So I do not have the time, like to balance all these multiple relationships at the same time. If I had the time and I could, I think I would.
Can one say? I'm going back to what you said earlier, Nana, and it kind of related to what Sandra was saying. Sandra made a very fine quote earlier. You can't love one more than love another one less. So I thought I liked that. And you've just said one for the intellectual vibes, another one for maybe the social vibes. But my question again is this. That's why I said earlier, something must be lacking in one. That means, in a sense, you're loving one less. That's why you're trying to.
Not necessarily.
I'm just hanging that on water.
I do believe it's possible to love two people at the same time, but the way in which you love each person is different. So I think, when it comes to being in love with more than one person,
but it's not being selfish.
It's not much different from, platonically like loving more than one person. So like you can simultaneously just care for multiple friends, and I believe that it's possible for you to care for more than one person, more than one intimate partner.
I'll disagree because like Nana talk, it's time consuming and all of that, but I'll disagree. My friends, the sort of relationship we have, they're not on the same par with the one I have with my wife. The certain needs are being met with my wife in our relationship. My friends don't meet those needs. They will never meet those needs. But then if something is lacking, or I didn't know that anything was even lacking because I was just in it. And we were talking about whether monogamous relationship were boring earlier in the studio. So something is lacking, but you don't see it. And you go out. Now, okay, let me use this fantastic example. COVID, lockdown, we've been indoors. I see my wife on a daily. She sees me on a daily. I no longer wear bottoms when I'm working. I'm just there half naked and she's seen everything. And she'll be like, I've seen it all. And me, I too have seen it all. Then I go out, was out of lockdown, back to the office. I'm seeing Stella and the other people differently. And I started to say, wow. And I started going in deep. Only because I'm saying this my own personal way. I'm saying this because I must be lacking that thing in my relationship to see that thing being fulfilled in somewhere else. You see what I mean?
Right.
And to say that I love my wife still and I love this person, I don't think it's possible, because if I do, I need to bring both of them together and be saying to them, I love you still, but I'm loving this person still. Can we do that? That's the deep. That's deeper. If I'm not able to do that, I don't think I'm loving these two people same way. I think I'm just living a life of
Yeah,
deception to both of
I
them.
was just I agree. I think it
Yeah.
has to be I think if you are going to engage in a polyamorous relationships, I do agree that all parties have to be aware and consent to
Okay.
it. I think once there is that, I mean, it can't just be a one way, like none whereby one person has agreed that I'm no longer being monogamous. I think then in that case you're being deceitful and you're a liar. I think it has to be a thing whereby you're being honest. And I think that's the one thing that when you look into polyamorous relationship, that's the one thing that a lot of them bang on about, is the fact that they're all consenting to this and they all know what's happening. So nobody's been hoodwinked, nobody's been lied to.
So polyamorous is the one where a guy has two girls or a girl has two guys?
Yeah,
All of them
either
see
way.
each other?
Yeah, either way. So
Either way.
So the three of them see each other, or one sees two? That's it? Or they
To
just
be fair,
know?
it's up to the parties to decide
How far they go. Okay.
how far they go. So there's some whereby it's like three parties in a relationship, or there's some whereby there was one that I read about where it was a married couple, and the wife sees other people and the husband also sees other people, and they all know.
So you see, okay, great. So does that mean that they equally love all of these parties involved, or it's just them satisfying their lust, satisfying their basic or base lust?
But I think in those instances, it depends on what those people are looking for. Because if it's just purely you're looking for like a physical intimacy, then that's something else. But then there were some couples who honestly enjoyed just spending time with other people, because there's certain things that they had interest in that perhaps their husband had no interest in, and he was okay with them for them to go pursue that with somebody else.
Good, interesting. I think for me, something you mentioned earlier, if just permit me, I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate here. If I was the one who instigated it, and I've gone to like Stella and I've fallen in love with Stella, and I come home and I say to my wife, you know what? I love you. I have fallen in love with Stella. I love Stella. I want to bring you into the knowledge of this all. Is that not being selfish of me? Is that not me imposing on my wife? What if she says, no, I'm not interested? Do I just get up and walk? Because that's.
I mean, if she says no, she's not interested, then
Yeah.
I don't think you can. If you then go on and do it, I think then it's a bit of deceitful, isn't it? Because it has to be. I even think even before you get to the point where you love Stella, your wife should know that you've been having some sort of a relationship.
Thank you very much, Nana. Thank you very much. Thank you. I should let her know that I'm having a relationship. You do well.
Yeah, even before you get to the point where you're saying, I love this person.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we move on. Sandra. She's scratching every table, yeah.
Oh my God.
You like Stella, you meet Stella once and you should be spilling already. You know, I'm saying Stella. Yeah, you want to go back there with some broken head.
But that's the thing. If you know that that's not something your partner's going to be open to, then perhaps you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. I'm just saying, you know.
Oh my God.
What's your take on all of this, Sandra? Because is it just base loss for humans, or bestiality coming out of play, and we're just finding names, giving it labels like polyandry, polygamous, polyamorous, polydat, monodat, monodis, monomany? What is it?
Monomany, you know.
What is it?
What's your question? So what's your question?
I'm asking, is it just us as humans expressing ourselves in the basest way?
Animalistic.
We should do it.
I just think
the basest way.
I just think it's just people who are not into that, who are open to the non-traditional relationship dynamics. Those are the kind of people. That's people. That's how I look at them.
So when you say
So-
non-traditional, you're talking about how society has boxed the whole relationship business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I
I
think
see.
it depends on what type of society, though, because in certain societies, whether be it like polygyny or like polyamorous relationships are quite common. So perhaps within our societies, it's more frowned upon, especially when it's the woman doing it. Because I think, like, let's think about our grandparents' generation, whereby like polygamy was quite common.
It was.
But from the,
you don't know what
like,
it
from the
was
male-
back then.
Yeah, but it was like for the men, really. So I mean, it's okay for the men to engage in having multiple wives.
I don't
think when
think it's okay.
And
But I
these
think it
wives
was
don't
more
even know.
acceptable.
Yes, it was more
It was
acceptable.
it
And
was more acceptable.
and also it
Because
tells
I
you
know that
something
my
about.
grandfather at some point had multiple wives at the same time,
Mhm.
and it wasn't
Yeah.
seen as I mean it did it wasn't seen as anything. Nobody like looked down upon him because he had like 2 or 3 wives.
Mhm.
It was just accepted.
It actually it was
norm.
looked up. It was looked up. They looked up to him for having more wives because wow, he's the
It's a
right.
sign
He's
of
taking
wealth,
care of
really,
them.
isn't it?
Yeah,
He's got a
yeah, and if you're a
yeah,
rich
yeah,
person,
yeah.
if you're rich, yeah, that's true.
But look, I think it tells much of a society where they're not open about this, and the society is kind of dishonest because every society, trust me, they do this. Whether it be in Nigeria from the 500 years ago, every single society.
definitely.
Kama Sutra is from India, yet
It's from
India
India,
frowns
yeah.
upon this. That's Kama Sutra
Really?
book didn't come from, it didn't come from my town, it came from there. You know, so yet at the face of society, they frown upon certain things.
Yeah.
Every society has this, but I guess it's about honesty coming out to really talk about it. It was acceptable, like you said. It seemed okay for men to do it.
Yeah.
But even those men, did they equally love this woman the same way?
I wouldn't think so.
I don't have anyone to ask those questions from the time.
Yeah, that was just I don't know.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
don't know.
I mean,
know.
some of them will probably argue that they did, and there'll be some that will be like, okay, I love certain wives for certain things.
Yeah, for what they brought. Yeah.
For what they bring to the table. So perhaps you might have the wife who was industrious, and then you might have the more caring wife.
Mhm.
So I don't know. That's the way that I'm thinking about it.
Because if you look, most people these days, when they fall in love with somebody else, or they're starting to see somebody else that they think they're falling in love, they just separate from the other one.
Yeah, they just
Exactly. Do you think that's a more matured way? Because they cannot love two people and they're just actually expressing what it is that as humans we cannot equally love two people? When it comes to that,
that's what that is.
Love is different. We're not talking about the Jesus type love, the agape love. We're talking about love that involves sex and emotions and all of that.
Erotic love, yeah.
So so the eros and all of that. It would appear that it's not possible to really love two people, because even men who've done it in this part of the world, even in our times, they've ended up just walk. Look, we'll tell you of one. Our former Secretary of State for Health, Hancock. He just could not. Yeah, he just could not love two people. He walked out with the other lady and left the wife.
No,
he just could not love two of them. Yeah,
dude.
Let's be honest about what.
If let's be for real, if that video hadn't leaked, I think Hancock would have still continued seeing both.
But that ain't love. That ain't love.
He got caught.
No.
He got caught.
But Sandra, that's not loving both.
But do you know what it is?
That's not loving both.
But isn't that? I think it's more to do with society and the fact that, like, you know, when your hand gets caught in the cookie jar, and the society doesn't allow you, especially I think British society isn't really like non-monogamous relationships.
Are you implying at all that Hancock in the slightest could love both women? Because he got up and left immediately. He didn't even go back home.
Now shame no man can go back home.
Yeah, but maybe his wife didn't want him to come back home.
No, he didn't even bother because he didn't love her. If Hancock,
how do you know he didn't love her?
This is it. If a man loved a woman, they will fight. If Hancock loved his wife, he would go and say, I love you both. I love you both, and cry. He got up and left. He didn't even go home.
But isn't that because our society expects people to be in monogamous relationships?
I don't think Hancock loved both of them. No. I'm not saying he started to love the wife less, but I'm saying what happened was the scenario I gave. Hancock was so busy, no excuse for his behavior, was so busy that period. He was always in the office. He was like, I'm the face of England. UK's COVID response.
Public health.
And yeah, exactly. So because of that thing,
it
was always with these people. It wasn't always with the wife. They suffer. This kind of relationship do suffer. It was always there trying to save the universe, trying to put his face there, positioning himself for a bigger position later. Then he forgot just the basic thing that there was a CCTV camera somewhere. You could have put a plaster. You could have put a plaster over it. Huh? This is why they should have, friends like me, who could say, look, my guy, put plaster over that thing. He did it. He forgot the basic thing. And this one got caught, like you said.
Perhaps, or don't do things in your office.
Don't do it.
In your office, okay.
Or don't do it at all. Just.
Let's
spice it up with your wife.
Don't do that.
Don't do it at all. But I think
it's too far-fetched.
If you want to do something like that, perhaps not in the office, because think about it. You're in a public space. It's not even a city.
It's a public space. So
it's a public space, So there's always a possibility that something.
It's our taxpayers' money that runs that place.
Yeah.
So he breached that trust between me and him. I'm not happy.
Wow.
But so you see, all of this happens now, and we've seen situations where men will just get up and leave. The women, not so much. It would appear that
I was just about to say the women don't.
The women, not so much. Yeah. Because it will play out in society as if the men walked away anyway. So we don't really know who actually walked away. Then we have our sister in America, Will Smith's wife,
Jada.
But she's not in love with those other people. She's just expressing her own sexuality. Is that what it is?
But I think she makes that very clear. That I can't remember the name of the kid that I call him a kid because he's a kid.
Augustine.
Yeah. From my understanding of that was just a purely sexual relationship. I might be wrong. Initially, perhaps you might feel like she was mothering him. I don't know how that would have turned from being like me mothering you to then be in a sexual relationship. But I don't think it went any further than that. But I have the issue.
She was lacking something from Will, like sexually. That's why she.
Perhaps. But one thing I will say about the two of them is that they do have a very open marriage.
That's what it. That's what it. That's what it tells you.
It's a partnership.
That's what.
I think they're very honest with each other about the fact that I am not going to be sexually attracted to you throughout our 20 or 30 so years of being together, that in itself.
Anyway, we're not yet to discuss the Wills and the Jada. But don't forget, these people are brands. Jada is a brand on her own. Will is a brand. They don't just manage these things by themselves. People manage it for them. So I'm definitely saying it's a no that they are in an open relationship, because Will didn't know about it until it blew up. Those guys are not in an open relationship. They're just deceiving the rest of the world. They have their own problems. They have their own troubles. Respect to Will Smith. I respect him a lot. They have their own problems, just like me, I do. But they're bigger brands. You can't just come out and be spilling things online. You have to manage all of that. But our question is, we had to refer to them, whether it was possible to actually be in love with two people. Being in love, I think, it's a different ballgame. It's not just for sexual loss or wow, I just want to get between that person's legs, or I want to get that guy. I think it's a different ball game. If you're really in love, it's like a fire burning. It doesn't just burn for a moment and it disappears. It burns for a while, for a long time, and before the monotonous way of life creeps in and all of that. When that creeps in, what do you do? Exactly. I'm talking.
What do you do, Jude?
Yeah, I'm telling you. Wait, I'm going to spill it now. It's going to be breaking news. So for men like me, I'm using myself. I've been in this relationship with my wife since 2005, so it's quite long. And you begin to see we see each other all the time, and we never had the time to really go out. We don't go concerts. We don't do all those things. When we try to arrange stuff, children comes into play. We can't do it. And I'm a guy. It's easier for me to get up and go. I don't need to really prepare with my friends. I don't really need to prepare anything with friends. I just be at home and not planning to do anything the whole day. And my phone would just ring, and my guy would be like, hey, I'm around Stratford. You want to come for a drink? And I'm like, okay. Stratford is like, what, half an hour from me? I'm coming. No plans. That's the basic truth. Never arranged anything to say, let's go meet some people. And we're out there looking good, sitting at the bar, trying to get a drink or two, and things happen. So you can be tempted to say, "Oh, let me play, let me fill up these things," and you start to think, "I'm missing this." So definitely, what Sandra said, or you said, there's something always missing in every relationship. And I don't know who's going to tell me, yeah, it's all perfect for them. There's something that you go at them like, hang on, wow. You know what I mean? So if I then move on with that and I start to fall in love again, it doesn't mean I'm genuinely in love with that person. It just means for me that I'm going through the same phase that I went through when I first met my wife. And it's going to burn out with that same person. So that's why I'm saying it's very impossible for me to love two people. I must have to.
So,
I must leave one.
From your, so you think that you have to leave one? You don't think you can love two people at the same time?
Yeah. If I come to an agreement with my wife that, you know what, I like threesome, I've never had it. I've been hearing, are you open to that sort of stuff? That's a different ballgame. We know we're just doing it for a short time for the sexual pleasure.
Yeah, that's the sexual. Yeah.
But say I want to be in a relationship and I actually fall in love with a person again, to start that process of falling in love with somebody. You know, I don't think you can do that with two people. That's just my own opinion. I don't know. It's just my opinion. I don't think it's possible. I just don't think it's possible, because the examples that Sandra gave earlier, that's why I pushed. And it turned out she wasn't in any relationship with any of them. She was in the process of saying, and she was falling in love with them. But to actually be in relationship, whether married or just boyfriend and girlfriend, I think it's very difficult for you to love two people, really fall in love with two people. Because they're two different people, that you like two different things. Hence, one of them is lacking that and the other one is lacking that. So what do you think?
I get where you're coming from.
See, I understand, but I always, my thing is then, so what about the people out there that are steadfast in their belief that I love these two people?
My dear, you're not there with them.
I mean, what are those people doing then? Because you're saying that from your personal perspective, like you cannot love two people, but there are people that out there that are experiencing this and that are saying it's fantastic. I love both of these people.
I'm not going to discredit them. I'm not going to discredit anybody. This is my own opinion, and I respect all that opinion and all of that. But the thing with life, we all know with humans as well, we have these short memories. We quickly forget. This thing comes with like rapid fire, and 2 months later, something else comes up. We don't remember those people again. It was Tiwa Savage a couple of weeks ago. No longer Tiwa. I told people, I said, that news will burn out. Nobody will talk about Tiwa and whatever things she did. Those people who come out and write stories and say, I'm in this relationship with love themselves, go check some of them. They've committed suicide. Some of them just shot themselves in the head. I'm not saying that led to that. So that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to say, you haven't gone back yet to see, hey, how is it working? I've just given you a timeline of my own relationship. I've been in it since 2005. And this is 2021. I'm pretty sure that's 16 years if my arithmetic is good, or 11 years. I don't know which is correct. No, it's definitely 16. Because my daughter's gonna be 15. So,
it's 16.
Thank you. You see where I'm coming from? So I've given you a timeline.
Yeah.
That this is where it's been. So you need those timelines to actually say, hang on, these sort of things happen. Like I said before, societies have always done every of these things. We have. Yeah. So not just because they not labeled them, it becomes a new fad. It ain't a new thing. It's always been there. And again, I know women back home in Nigeria who were married to more than one man, and both of the men knew. Yeah, they were there. They were there. So it's not a new thing at all. But people seem, because of social media and these days, everything is out there. They play it out in your face. We tend to think, but whether it's love, whether it's just love, they're just happy in that moment. They're enjoying, they're experiencing, they're experimenting, all of those new stuff. Maybe that's what's confusing them as love. I don't know. But from my own perspective, it's very difficult to really love two females, because I'm into women. Two females the same way. I don't think so. Because one definitely is lacking. I'll walk away and move. I think that's what will happen.
Oh, you think you would just walk away?
Yeah, I think if it happened, if it happened that you fall in love with somebody else, then this relationship will be in trouble. There's no way I'll say I love you and I love her. Then I bring my troubles here and say, can you two just agree? I love both. I don't think.
But you,
I think.
Go on, Sandra.
Go ahead, Sandra.
I think that's how I felt when I met these two people, because I felt, I liked, I don't want to say love. I was into both of them equally, but I didn't know who to choose. And I was confused. And I was honest with both of them. I was like, listen, I like this or I like that one. I don't know who to choose. And they were like, oh, well, you have to decide who you want.
Oh, wow.
And I couldn't decide. And I just gingerly walked away because I clearly didn't know what I want. So that's why I said it's possible to have feelings for two people. Whether you are married or you're not in a relationship or you meet, people, it's possible. It's very possible to have feelings for two people.
Oh yeah, that definitely. In terms of having feelings for two people.
Yeah, you can.
But all I can say is, like, because for what you said, Nana, like, there's some people who are like certain, like they're in love with two people. All I can say, if you're having feelings for two people, then I think it's best to just ask yourself whether, traditional monogamy is giving you everything that you need.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So
I think what it comes down to is that I think we need to get to a point to perhaps understanding that monogamy isn't the only type of relationship that is available. So
definitely,
if monogamy doesn't work for you, like personally, there are other options for you to explore. I think that's how I'm thinking about it from. And I might sit here, I just want people to decide for themselves. Monogamy isn't the end all and be all. It's not the only type of relationship.
No, you're very, very valid. Very valid.
Yeah. So like, I know that perhaps like back in the day, where I always say is like perhaps within African communities, when they really used to champion like polygamous marriages, a lot of it was purely because well, this is my research, according to like research, is because when within agrarian society, it made sense for the men to have multiple wives, because then what they're doing is that they're able to reproduce, have loads of children who could then help them with their farms. Facts. So it was purely from that basis of being from that basis. So that was the benefit of being in a polygamous marriage in those times, where agrarian society was like the main form. Whereas when you look at it, like if you look at it in terms of Islam, when the Prophet Muhammad allowed men to be able to have more than one wife, it was because one, there was a lot of destitute women, and there was a shortage of men because a lot of men had died in the war. So he allowed the men to take multiple wives to basically help society. It
was a social policy for a short period.
Move.
Yeah.
So then it's like, yes, there's also like that aspect of it, where perhaps it might not even have anything to do with love, but it might just be you looking at the advantages that comes along with this type of relationship and choosing to go for it because there's a benefit to society as a whole, or a benefit to yourself if you're running a farm. And it's cheaper for your kids to be the laborers.
Exactly.
To pay people.
Exactly. You've touched on so many things. You spoke about time earlier on, and you just touched on the economic aspect and the social policy of all of these decisions. Very, 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 very valid. It's the same everywhere. It's just what it is. It was social policy, and that time's passed, but people kept onto it. There was another African country, I think not in the recent past, who said, men come marry our wives. You could marry 4 or 5, it'll make it legal. And we were joking like, wow, why didn't they tell us this when we were still singles? My gosh. You see, why did I say that? Because that bestiality, that base human animal instinct is wow. I could have as much as I want. I'm not going to say I desire it, but that being in me would jump at that all the time. But if I'm driving, I see a woman that dresses in a certain way, look nice, or I like the way her physique is, I'm still going to say, I'm not going to close my eyes and say, oh, drive into the ditch. You're married. Drive into the ditch, please. No way.
You're going to look, but you're just going to
what I mean? Even with my wife sat next to me, I still have a way I look. That, you know what I mean? You see, so it's the basic. But societies then have ways to then maybe not use the word box like with cockroaches, no, kind of say, okay, let's address these concerns. That's what Prophet Muhammad did. That's what other people are doing in their place. I think it was the same in the Bible as well, where they say, do not divorce and blah, 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 except it was for infidelity. There was all of that. Even in the Bible, a lot of men there who walked with God personally, they were doing all of this stuff. David killed.
Look at David.
I was just about to say, because of King a woman. Solomon. Exactly, King Solomon, he was boss. He was having his babe. He was having his babe, and the other queen came from Africa, and he just dropped his babes and said, "Whoa, I'm going after this one." All these men worked with God. You see what I mean? But as time went on, the implications for society made them change their perspective towards how they address all of these things. I guess the word is a cycle. Everything goes like this, and they say there's nothing new under the face of the earth. We're only just going back. We're going back to the awareness, to the whole oneness, the wholesome knowledge of that being again. This is what I see. That's why you see all of this pouring out here and there, and people think, oh, all of this has happened before. None of them is new. None of this is new. You know, going back to say whether you could truly love one or two person. I remember growing up, I didn't start dating on time, but one time I was lucky. I had 2 girlfriends at the same time.
Oh, naughty you.
Jude the player.
The only reason for that was something was already happening with the first relationship, and by chance the other one happened. And guess what? I loved this other one that came, and that one I just didn't care what she did anymore. And one time I was coming back home with this one, and I didn't know this one was waiting at the house, and they didn't know each other. They didn't know each other, but you know, in your spirit, your body will, you know, I don't know how they found it either. And they just they started fighting. Guess what? I took side with the other one, the new one.
Oh God!
Because I couldn't love.
But is that because you had already decided that that's the one you wanted?
I couldn't love both. I couldn't love both. I would still kept seeing each other. She'll still come out, see her, but I just couldn't love
the first one. You still see the first one.
But I never cared for her any longer than I did before. So whatever she was doing that used to just get on my nerves, I didn't care. Whether she saw 20 million people, where people come tell me they saw her with that or that, it just didn't bother me anymore. It's like, well, that's your business. I already have this one that I'm pouring my interest on.
Yeah. And it wasn't anything that. So you've checked us, and it wasn't anything that she's done to you that made you check that. You just didn't love her anymore because
no.
You started liking somebody else.
I don't want to spill it. Yeah, I don't want to seem like I'm blaming a woman, but actually, she was seeing more than just me, and I was just seeing her. Like I said, I wasn't good with women when I was growing up. I was very shy.
Okay, but wait, did she tell you?
No, I found out. I found out through her people. Yeah, so and I caught her red-handed. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so
and
you're being deceived.
I'll fight though. I'll fight for her then. And I did actually go into a fight with a guy. And the guy really slapped my face, man. Big guy.
Oh God.
And I got my guys later. I got my guys later to go get the guy as well, you know. So you see, I did all of that because maybe I called it love then. But looking back, maybe I didn't just have the options. I thought I'm gonna lose this woman, and that was it. But when in that whole period another one came, that was it. I just didn't care about stories.
Okay.
She kept coming, but I just didn't care about stories. That's your business.
Well, maybe that next one was a rebound. Did you really love the next one?
Again, this is what I'm trying to say. But I could not like both of them same way any longer. So what I was just like equally or lost, I couldn't lust for them equally any longer. One had to go, and it was on. Yeah.
Do you know what? It's quite interesting you say that because in Islamic law, you can only take if you take up multiple wives. There's actually a stipulation that you have to love them equally. It's actually there.
How can you prove that you love them equally though?
But you're actually supposed to love them equally.
But how would they measure that?
I mean, that's the thing. But
I think they can.
I don't know how you're going to measure it. But
I don't think it's the emotional
side. Stipulation that you're meant to. You're only allowed to take up like multiple wives if you can love them equally. Okay.
I think they could.
So they will sign and say, I can love them equally.
No.
But I want to understand what
because I'm saying that, but I always say that in terms of like, I mean, the Holy Book says one thing, but then in practice, people do something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the thing with religion. Because I mean, the Holy Text might say one thing, but cultural practices might be completely different. So I mean, culturally, a lot of I know some men in Islam do take up wives and they don't actually tell their first wives, and you're actually meant to seek their consent before you do that, according to the holy
so
book.
that's what I was going to. The consent is part of the whole love.
Yeah, consent is literally part of it, and you also have to then love them equally. But once again, what actually happens on ground is very different to what it's supposed to happen. So cultural practices are very different, especially when you're within, I always say this, when you're within a patriarchal society.
Of course, because you've touched on power again, economics, time, power. Power is the thing. Who are the people in charge of societies? Men. So they would want to do things that will benefit them.
That will benefit them, exactly.
If there were things in holy books or holy scriptures or earlier scripts of laws or scribes saying the woman could take 4 men as her husband, I'm pretty sure we would have redacted, would have blotted it out of
history. Trust me,
anyway.
it would have been redacted.
I think in some countries, some women can.
I was just about to say there are in certain communities where women are allowed. Polygamy is well practiced and is well received, but once again, it's within those communities and cultures.
Just trying to imagine having 2 husbands. It'd be so exhausting, having to satisfy this one today and then the other one tomorrow. Oh God!
But they might not. Both of them might not have the same sex drive. Think about it.
Oh my days!
No, you get too deep in the mechanics of everything.
I'm just thinking out loud.
I know what you're saying. It's a very difficult one, and it is very personal as well. Not everyone is willing and freely to come out and talk about these things because
some people do it. I was just about to say that because the book that I was reading was memoirs of women's sexual lives, and there was a married woman who was talking about being in a polyamorous relationship, and she was her and her husband are very, very cagey about it because they know how people within the African community are going to react and see their marriage, because they're married and they basically sleep with other people, and they're both okay with either party doing that and they consent to it. But they know that within the communities that they're in, that's not deemed as being acceptable, and they know the backlash that's going to come from that. So they said they make sure that they basically keep it under wraps, especially within the African community.
I know, and it has to. It happens a lot in our community. People just think it doesn't. It does. It's in abundance in our community. It's just the backlash and stigma and stereotype that makes people just keep it under the radar. And again, growing up as a guy, like I said, when I had those 2 ladies, I'm pretty sure my mates would have said, "Whoa, Jude is a player now, man." They'll praise me more. If it was a girl, we called her different things. So I was getting angry that my girl was dating other guys.
Because what was the real reason behind your anger? Was it her lying to you? Was it the deceitfulness of it?
No.
Or was it more to do with what society expected of her, the fact that she was deviating from that?
There was no lady then who would come tell any man that I'm saying the other guys is you. No one would do that because both the woman and the man all use deception anyway to get whatever they want to get. Again, it's because of like I said, dishonest society. We're not open to talk about those things. So then we have to hide it. When the society is very open to these conversations, you would find out that no one is hiding any of these things. So
what if she was open to you and she told you, I'm seeing something else?
We've accepted those sort of situations before where guys like that. So they go after her again. They say, I have a boyfriend. I'm seeing this guy. I'm not going to leave this guy. The guy will say,
I want to be a side nigga.
They'll continue just because it is a slight on the other guy. They think I'm the winner because if you're not good, if you're good enough, you see what I mean? So guys, we do that. That's no problem. I think the problem is when you thought that she's my all in all, and you then carry her like an egg, and you do everything for her. In our back home in Nigeria, you do everything spend on her, and your friends then find out they know you do all these things, and they start laughing at you saying,
I think
they make it worse. Your friends make it worse.
Public embarrassment.
Yes, I was having a discussion earlier with a friend of mine on the phone, and this is what I said to him. I said, we would love each other openly and freely, love everyone openly and freely, and just be content. But as the people's expectation of how you should be and act. That's what worries us.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I can be in my house looking all slut, all just there. I don't care. It's me. But once you say you're coming to my yard, I start thinking, what would be Nana's perspective, opinion? Yeah, exactly. What's Nana's opinion about my place? Even when my girlfriend then would tell me she was going to come to my house, that's when I'll tidy, like I'll clean the streets. I'm not joking. Yeah. We used to go clean the streets, the surrounding environs around the area. We'll tidy the gutter. We're trying to give her the pressure because we want her to see, wow, that impression. That's what we always worried about. Otherwise, we could just freely love everyone. But we're worried that, I'm worried too, if I saw somebody and I fell in love with her outside, I'm worried what my wife would think about that. So I will be coming to say to her, I'll be thinking, oh, what would be a perspective about that? Saying, after all these years, you've just gone up and walked. That's it. So I'm not able to freely express my fullness. It is fact. And those people who were able to do it, I applaud them. And I hope they go the long way. I applaud them a lot. When I see them, I'm like, wow. Because something in me tells me, that's the life though. Not because of the whole, I have multiple partners. No, my whole being just confirms with me that that's what we're all about.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
We've been kind of
boxed into this, we've been boxed into this situation. So they're trying, they're kind of free. They're kind of expressing their freedom through all of these different avenues. That's what I do. I applaud them for that. Yeah. And I hope they're happy. I hope they're happy for the rest of their life.
Because I think one thing I will say is that I think I'm more, perhaps, I think I have more respect for people that perhaps deviate from the norm and decide that we're going to be in poly relationships than people that lie to their spouses that they're in monogamous relationships, knowing fully well that that monogamy is only practiced by one person and the other party is running amok in the streets, but lying to the person that they're with and telling them that it's just me and you.
You do know why their lies will be there though.
Of course, but you know, I think I definitely have more respect for people who are honest and open about exactly what they're doing, so that there's no deception.
Yes.
But if they're honest, most people would not want to date them.
Another one.
Not necessarily.
So, but here's
the thing. This is what I always say. If you're honest and somebody then decides that that's not my cup of tea, I think isn't that what you want? Because you want people to be able to make a decision based on them knowing the full facts. You don't want to hoodwink somebody into agreeing to a situation, and then a couple of months down the line, it's like, wait, I didn't know that you were doing this, or I didn't know that you were doing this.
That's exactly what I said earlier. Like, you would walk away. I would just walk away from one, because it's me bringing my lifestyle into this. Now you see what I mean? I'm the one bringing the third person into that otherwise monogamous relationship. So I'm the one bringing my own third leg into that, and I should just bounce. You know, I understand the aspect you're coming from with regards to deception, and you know why that is. It's the investment and all of that. Sometimes maybe there are kids, maybe you bought house together, all of that. You think, you know what? I can eat my cake and have it. It's better that way, as long as the other person. The third person understands. No, the third person.
Because then there has to be the third person also understanding as well.
But
if they decide to now, strike a match and burn the whole thing down.
So you have to be honest. You are honest in a way, but to one person, not to your real relationship.
But some people are
you honest with the third person,
though.
Yes, you're always honest. If I was going to see somebody else, I'm straight with it. I'm married with kids. I'm still married. So if you continue, I've told you that's my caveat forever. I would never be dishonest to the next person. Never. I won't be going out there telling people, oh, no, I'm single. I've got a flat somewhere in Tinsby. No way.
No. But some people do that, though. You'd be surprised.
It's a shame for them. I don't know why they do it. It's just crazy. Because I will be straightforward honest with you. I am married with children. And I am still married. We don't have troubles. We're not planning to divorce. If you decide to continue with me, that's my caveat.
Do you know what's interesting? I'm actually thinking about
it. But I will not be honest with my wife. It's facts.
Do you know what I find quite interesting? The fact that you're more comfortable being honest, like with a third party, than the person. That's quite interesting.
Because to me, it comes back again to the investment, because I'm not invested in you yet. Yeah, I'm not invested in you yet. So I'm able to tell you, if you don't want bounce, but I'm invested in this one. This is going to cost me my home, the roof over my head. It's going to cost me my emotional stress. It's going to cost me not seeing my children. But with you, it won't cost me anything. So I must be honest with you from the word go. If I am ever dishonest with you, man, you should just do with me whatever you want to do. That's what I believe. That's why I said I don't think I can love two people equally, because you got to be honest with both of them. You got to
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And I think that's when that would be the difficult part. Being honest to both parties, because a lot of people cannot do that.
Yeah, you remember when I said about honest society and having open conversations? I grew up in that society, and I'm so angry with myself that there are some things I just can't open up and talk about. But I can probably tell you, or tell Sandra, or tell not my real friends, boys, but I could tell somebody that I just met like a week or two at work. I could open up these things with them, and they will say, oh, they're going through the same. But I'm not able to be open with the one I'm supposed to be open to. It's just as a result of my growth, where I grew up from. Simple as that. Society
you don't have open conversation with your wife?
No, not on everything. So if I start to like somebody else, I will never bring it home. My wife is watching.
I won't.
I won't.
Okay.
No, I won't tell my wife I'm starting to like this lady. Why would I do that?
But do you see? Oh, I think this person is attractive.
Yeah.
I think it's healthy to have this kind of relationship with your partner. Like if you
grew up in a different country, my dear. You grew up in a different society.
you can be married to somebody and then you start having like twinkly feelings for somebody. Like, so I don't know. It's possible to have feelings for someone.
Of course, you can't stop that.
But I think it's good to have conversation with your wife. Like, I don't know how you even have the conversation though. I think it's very healthy to have these conversations and just talk about it. And then maybe if it's something you guys have to work on or fix something, because I'm thinking because you're lacking something from that relationship, that's why you're maybe
again, you're going back to what I said before. You're bringing your own ideas, your own third way into the relationship. So if I go tell my wife, you know what, I like Susan at work, and I think I want to start seeing Susan,
like you want to indirectly start seeing her,
or I'm having feelings for her. Yeah. I'm indirectly telling my wife that she lacks something. Now there's something to be fixed, like you said, and that is absolutely wrong. What if the problem was me anyway?
You're supposed to bottle up the feelings, and then what? The feelings is going to go away.
Hence the deception, hence the dishonesty, like Nana is saying all the time. Yeah. But I'll be honest with the third person, but not with my wife. It's fact.
Not with.
That's me.
Okay.
No, I can't do that because of my investment in her. I won't. I would love to, but I just can't. I just think you just go to the grave with some things. Bye. Let sleepy dogs lie. Peace. That one out there, she knows already that I have a wife and children. So she won't be coming to my door to say, why did I see you last week? Then she's got herself to blame.
Well, make sure you get the one that has sense.
She won't see me in Sainsbury or
I was like the one that has sense.
No, they will
come
have
and
sense.
Say, they will
have sense by force. They will have sense. No, they won't. Even if they come at me at Aldi and say, "Hey, Jude," like, "Hey, Jude," and that's where it should end.
Like, do I know?
They won't be coming there and say, "Why did I see you last week?" They will explain themselves. So that would be big trouble. That would be big trouble for every one of us, though. But I don't think that's why you need to be upfront, at least with one. Be honest with one. You can't be dishonest to both. No way.
Yeah, but I think, you know what, being honest with one, I think that in itself, it's in your best interest as the party stepping out.
So you're selfish.
Because it is selfish.
So then don't step out.
Let me just say, human beings are inherently selfish.
Thank you, Nana.
Yeah, I'm never going to stop saying this because we are. So it's in your best interest to let at least one person know, because then at least there's some sort of boundary. You know that she's not going to get upset. Yeah, there is some sort of boundary. She won't be calling you at 2-3 a.m. and then she gets upset that you're not picking up. I mean, you know, there's those sort of things. He might be at home with his wife and kids, so let me leave it alone. Or I know he's married, so he can't do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. You know, you're like, the person is a bit more understanding of these things.
Simple as that.
So I think it's in your best interest. I mean, if you lie to both of them, well, you're stupid, innit? That's what I'm gonna say.
It's a necessity.
That one is just you're waiting for it. I don't know what you're waiting for, but something's going to burn soon.
So So folks at home,
Well,
with
let
you can see that
Yoruba demons, let them hear it. You better
this has
tell
been
tell
this has
the
been a
tell
very
the third
fantastic
party,
decision.
the third
Uh-huh.
person that you are married, so they know whether or not they want to date you or they don't want to date you
or not.
Yes, of course. You
Yep.
need to let them know from day
I'm
one.
just saying,
If
them
you
Yoruba
don't,
demons should
yeah,
listen to hear this.
yeah, but if as a guy you set out to deceive the 2 women or 3 or 4 women, man, whatever comes to you, man, you deserve it. Simple.
Yeah.
Whatever comes
Yeah.
from your wife, from them, you deserve it. I'm just, this is me just being open. I will be very honest from the word go with you.
Amen to that. Whatever comes to them,
Boundaries,
they
best
deserve it.
interest, blah. Because I need to
Mhm.
protect this. This is my investment.
Mhm.
Look at what happened to Hancock, and we'll end on this note. Hancock lost the wife. He had to pack up his bag. And the other woman lost her husband,
Her
who's
husband.
also
husband.
a victim in this. And nobody
Yes.
talks about him.
No one is talking about him.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's a victim. So
No,
she
I
was
talked about him
dishonest.
because I was like, what? Because he's rich. I was like, sis,
Yeah, he's
you
a rich
fumbled
boy,
the
yeah.
bag.
Yeah, he's got bags. The man's got loads of bags,
You
eh?
fumbled the bag.
I've been in his
You know, when I
place
searched,
before.
I was like, wait, as
It
in,
looks like your background you have behind you. Fine place
Really?
to be in. Yeah. Yeah.
I was just like, wait, Oliver Bonus of Oliver
Yeah.
Bonus?
It's
I
a
was like,
big boy.
sis, you
It's a
fumbled the
big
bag
boy.
for Matt
Big
Hancock.
top. Yeah, man. But
Well,
yeah, so you
it
see,
keeps you wondering, like, what was she lacking in that relationship or
it's
marriage or
not
whatever?
about lacking. Both of them were in this job that they got caught up at the time that the world was under this whole
Honestly,
career and
they'll
all of
probably
that.
see more of
And
each
they were
other
seeing
than
each
they were
other
of their spouses.
every day.
Yeah.
That's a recipe for disaster. They were seeing
Yeah.
each other
If you were-
every day.
If you were
I
in
became-
your shoes, what would
Yeah.
you have done? If
I
you were in
probably
your
would have
shoes,
I probably would have slipped big time, and I'll get caught like him. I became very close to the women in my workplace more than my wife at the time because I see them on a daily and we talk about everything. Although they knew my wife, and sometimes they'll come visit us too, so they knew my family. But I could talk to them more openly than because we were seeing each other every day.
Yeah.
I'd work on a daily, go to lunch on a daily, team meet every day. Fact. And you could open up and tell them and even ask for advice from them. How do I go about this? So that was what, no excuse for that sort of behavior, but that's exactly what Hancock and that lady, I've forgotten her name now, was
Yeah, I
doing.
don't remember her name either. Yeah.
And this woman wrote a very fantastic piece in this. Michael Gove's wife, who's actually left Gove as well.
Oh yeah.
You know, she said, and that article she wrote, very fantastic article. Those men in Westminster, in the House of Parliament, they think the saviors of the world, and they then neglect their wives at home, or the women, they neglect their husband. She said Samantha Cameron was the only woman who was able to rein the husband in. David Cameron, our former prime minister.
Yeah.
She told him it was time, pack your bag. And she said something about Cameron. She said Cameron, she wrote about Cameron that no matter how busy David Cameron was, he had time to go see the wife during the day, kiss her, go home and cook for her and the kids. They went to get the kids from school. So you see, when you're able to do these things, that relationship is steady. Hancock is a young man, for Christ's sake. His neurons are flying everywhere. And he's got this young bride, his bride there on a daily. And he's a young man. They're like, honey, I'm not coming today. You know, I'm saving the world. Go get the kids. Bye. And even this woman just saving the kids. So any of this could happen. You see from their relationship, and we'll end on this note, there was no way he could continue loving his wife and that woman continued loving Hancock and that man. And his friends actually said, when they found out about relationship earlier stages, that they loved each other to pieces. But it could have just been infatuation. It could have been heated lust, because they were always together.
Always
It
together,
It could have been COVID that got this. Maybe they both got COVID and the neurons just started flying somewhere else. They don't know.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see where it ends up.
They've been going on holidays and all, so the wife is definitely out of the picture. There's no loving two persons there. She's out of the picture. It's a difficult one. And you see, I've been sweating here because it's a hot topic. Because you have to be careful what you start spilling out there, you know, when this topic is so hot. Yeah, you know. Sandra almost told us she was dating.
I wasn't dating.
I said, no, I wasn't dating. That's a smart one. She quickly retracted.
And we weren't intimate in any way.
Exactly.
Let me just put it out there.
Put in all the caveats.
So it's all about the caveats this evening, people. And this is us. This was our 6th episode, and we were only just talking about whether you could love two persons. Let us know your opinion, what you think, people watching, and we could come back and discuss this again from your what's it called, feedback that you give us. And on this note, we're going to say thank you for coming through this journey with us. And this is us, same time next week. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.